Radhika. A very warm good morning to all. I am Radhika Mittal from Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, pursuing MBA, giving the presentation on the topic of Competition Act with my group members Rohit Singh Kaurav, Prashant Sharma, and KM Shanhavi. Now, first, let us understand the concept of Competition Act. Competition is the act of the seller individually seeking to acquire the patronage of buyers in order to achieve profits or market share. The Competition Act 2002 was enacted by the Parliament of India and replaced the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. Then next up we have the objectives of the act to provide. The first is to provide the framework for the establishment of the competition commission. Next is to prevent monopolies and to promote competition in the market. Next up we have to protect the freedom of trade for the participating individual and entities in the market. The last is to protect the interest of the consumer. Thank you. Now I would like to hand over the platform to KM Shanvi.
Thank you, Radhika Mittal. Good morning, sir. And my slide is the anti-competitive agreement. What is anti-competitive agreements? It is agreements that are made by two or more companies competing in the same market to fix price or reduce stock, etc. So as to manipulate the market favorably for them. This has the effect of the companies reducing the competition in the market by adversely affects the end consumer. An AAEC agreement is classified as any agreement that result in first directly affects purchase or sale prices, second indirectly affects purchase or sale prices, limits production, limits supply, limits technology development, limits service position provision in the market, leads to the rigging of bids, leads to collusive bidding. Second slide is the abuse of dominant position. The abuse of dominant position is prohibited by section 4 of the Competition Act. Abuse of dominant position is defined under the second part of the section. According to the act, dominant position means any enterprise that enjoy the position and power in the Indian market which enables it to operating independently uh, of competitive forces in the relevant market, affect its competition's consumer or relevant market in its favor. Thank you. Now further slides will be continue. Prashant.
Hi, I'm Prashant Sharma. I'm here to give a presentation on Competition Act. This is my part, remedies. Remedies against AAEC agreements and abuse of dominant position are provided by the Competition Commission of India. Upon a review and inquiry into the alleged practices, the Competition Commission may pass the following orders. First is direct the discontinuance of such practices, and the second is impose a penalty that is less than 10% of the turnover of the preceding 3 financial years. In case of a cartel, the penalty shall be 10% or 3 times the turnover of the every financial year, and shall continue for the period of continuance of such practices. And the next is direct the modification of such an agreement or abuse such as so as to curtail its adverse effect upon the competition of the market. And the next is pass any order that it may so deem fit. uh, the Competition Commission. The Competition Commission of India is established under the Competition Act 2002. The commission is composed of a chairman and minimum of 2 board members and a maximum of 6 board members. These members are required to have a minimum of 15 years of experience in their respective fields. Its objective, duties, and powers are enumerated in the Competition Act 2002. Business perspective. Business operations in India necessitates the knowledge of the various laws and regulations and also the implementation of the same. Competition in the market is a huge challenge which needs to be dealt with carefully. It is essential for the businesses to realize that although competition brings prosperity, thriving and striving shall be continuous process.
So the various matters to be kept in mind by the business houses are such as the market are susceptible to formulation of cartels and which pose a risk of formation of monopolies. The awareness of the fact that such associations are not permitted under the Competition Act 2002 is essential. uh, when discussions are made with competitors, the implementation of the same should be done. Any meetings wherein any matter is being discussed which shall raise issues under the competition law shall be avoided. It is advisable to avoid discussions pertaining to price and actual cost of the company. Here's a conclusion that the Competition Act 2002 is comprehensive law and its intent of legislation is to promote a fair competition, catch up with the global economy, safeguard the interests of the consumers, and ensure a stable market for India. Thank you.